Welcome back to the Gore Guide, where we're on a journey to compile the definitive list of gore and splatter films. Today's video is just going to be a short one. I had delivery of DVDs and I just wanted to share it with you lot. Living in Sweden, it's not exactly very easy to find affordable DVDs. There are second-hand stores that are kind of like basements, just walls and walls of DVDs, which in normal situations I love looking through, but with the pandemic going on, not exactly something that I want to put myself in the position that I want to put myself in. So it was fortunate that I found this website that had good deals on DVDs, Ginza. So I ordered a few, as you can see, and I just wanted to do a little unboxing for you. So let's get into it. As I mentioned before, this package is from a Swedish company. I've never used them before, but they had a sale on that was too good to miss, so I may have gone a little bit overboard. I prefer going to DVD shops and actually looking through the films on the shelves, but that hasn't been possible for a while now, so online is the next best thing. The films I bought are all English language, but the text on the cases will more than likely be all in Swedish, so apologies if you aren't able to read some stuff. First up is The Man with the Iron Fists. This is a fun martial arts action film directed by RZA from Wu-Tang Clan, who also co-wrote it along with Eli Roth. RZA plays a blacksmith called Blacksmith, who has to protect a small Chinese village from invaders. Lucy Liu's also in it, and Russell Crowe plays a great part. So not horror, but a good start. Next up is Martyrs. This is an American remake of the amazing French film from 2008. American remakes of foreign language films are almost never as good as the originals, and before making this, the directors had only directed videos for Puddle of Mud, so I wasn't exactly filled with confidence. But both versions are on my list of films to review, and it was cheap, so yeah, now I have both. Next up is Slime City, a horror film with guts. I've been trying to get hold of a copy of this for a while now, and I got it for a ridiculously cheap price. It's an SOV classic from 1988, I believe, and I haven't seen it, but it seems to be kind of along the same lines as The Stuff and Street Trash. Low budget, trashy nonsense that looks awesome. Looking forward to this one. Slime City. Next up is John Wick 3. The world's best assassin has a price tag on his head, and basically every other assassin on the planet wants to kill him. John Wick is Keanu Reeves' best part for a long time, and this is more of the same for him. Halle Berry is also in it, but the main stars of the show for me are her dogs. Again, not horror, but a fantastic action film and a great installment in the franchise. Next up, Sawney, Flesh of Man, also called Lord of Darkness, I think. It's based on the true story, but urban legend is probably more accurate, of the Highlands' infamous cannibal clan, Sawney Bean. Wes Craven also used Sawney Bean as inspiration for The Hills of Eyes, so it's a pretty good basis for a story. This seems kind of like a Scottish wrong turn. Next up, Antiviral. Brandon Cronenberg seems to have picked up a thing or two from his dad, and his two feature-length films to date have both been received really well. This was his debut and a pretty good one, targeting celebrity illnesses, the illness that is celebrity, and obsessive fans. Kind of sci-fi horror mystery with some good body horror moments. I really enjoyed this one. Next film out of the box is Stalled. I came across this while I was making the video for my top 10 gory festive horror films, and I really enjoyed it. It's a zombie comedy from the UK in which a janitor gets stuck in the women's bathroom when the zombie apocalypse starts. It's compared to Shaun of the Dead in a lot of reviews, but while it isn't quite on that level, it is a good film, and it's quite funny. Next up is The Serpent and the Rainbow. This is a 1988 film from Wes Craven. Bill Pullman goes to Haiti to look into claims that some voodoo practitioners are turning people into zombies. This one's a bit different to Craven's other films. It's a bit more atmospheric than just outright horror with an obvious antagonist, which is maybe why a lot of his fans don't like it, but I do. It's a good film with some genuine eerie moments. Next up is Green Inferno. Eli Roth's homage to the cannibal films of the 70s and 80s. I'll be honest, I only bought this because it's on my list of films to review and I need the footage. I didn't like this film the first time I watched it. It tries to be Cannibal Holocaust but doesn't come anywhere near close. The gore is good from what I remember, but the characters are annoying and I hated the ending. But we'll see how I feel when I have to watch it again. Maybe I'll change my mind. Or maybe I'll hate it even more. Green Inferno. And next up is Color Out of Space. This is the most recent film in this pile of films. I haven't actually seen it yet, but it looks really good. Has a lot of positive reviews and I love H.P. Lovecraft, so I'm looking forward to it. Nicolas Cage is a bit hit or miss for me. I love some of his films, but sometimes he's just a bit too Nicolas Cage. Mandy was a big letdown for me. It was way too much style over substance, so I hope you enjoy this one more. Next up, Mom and Dad. Seems a bit hypocritical to have two Nick Cage films considering what I just said, but again, heard good things about this one. It was cheap and it has parents going apeshit and killing their kids, so it sounds like the kind of pitch black comedy that I enjoy. The director, Brian Taylor, did Ghost Rider, the two Crank films, and Gamer. Not exactly masterpieces, but all pretty original and entertaining films. Next up, It Follows. This was surprisingly successful when it first came out, and when I first saw it, I didn't really understand the hype. Rewatching it has made me appreciate it much more, but it's still basically just The Ring with teenage sex instead of a videotape. But there is something really appealing about it. It's got some very creepy moments and it's really well made. And the next one, Prevenge. Another one I haven't seen but have heard nothing but good stuff about. Written and directed by the main actor, Alice Lowe, who is a familiar face in British TV and film. This is about a woman who thinks her unborn baby is talking to her and she goes on a killing spree. I think this will be another pitch black comedy and it will have a British sense of humour, so I am looking forward to it. So we're past the halfway point, folks, now, so don't worry, we're nearly there. Next one is Torment. Another new one to me that's on my list. Don't know a lot about this one except that it's about some parents trying to get their child back from a sadistic cult. And it's got Katharine Isabelle in from American Mary, Ginger Snaps and 13 Eerie. Creepy and effective, and this is one of those films that you can watch again and again. I cannot recommend this film enough. The quotes on the back make it sound promising, but they always do, so we'll see. And the next one is, got ahead of myself there, Starry Eyes. Another film about cults, the price of fame and celebrity. This one's a slow burner, but is pretty atmospheric and has some intense moments and good gore. It's got elements of early Argento and Rosemary's Baby, but it's not quite as good. It also got a lot of positive reviews when it was released, so we'll see if it lives up to the hype. And the next one, Horsehead. I haven't seen this one either. I know it's a surreal French film, and it being French, I would say it's very stylistic and arty. It seems like the sort of film that even if I'd seen it, I would struggle to explain it. Screen Magazine says it's Argento-esque expressionism, and Ain't It Cool News says I highly recommend this gothic descent into terrifying nightmare. Both reputable names that I trust, so it seems hopeful. Next film is Manborg. My recent review of Psycho Goreman made me want to revisit Stephen Kostansky's films, and this is one of them. It's set in a dystopian future, and a soldier is brought back to life as a cyborg to help fight demons. It's dumb, it's cheesy, it's funny, it's pretty gory, it's nostalgic, it's meta. It's a lot of things, but mainly it's just fun. It's like 75 minutes long and the DVD has the Biocop trailer on it. What more do you need? Next up, ABCs of Death 2. Anthologies can be hit or miss, but luckily there are 26, obviously, short films in the ABCs of Death films. So if one's crap, it's going to be over soon and the next one might be better. This collection has shorts by the directors of the French film Inside, American Mary, Cube, Big Bad Wolves, The Void, Blood Glacier, The Greasy Strangler, Wendigo, Juan of the Dead, among many others. But I think my favourite section is the one by Julian Barrett about the badger. And the next film, The Fear 2, Halloween Night. This one was an impulse buy because it was ridiculously cheap and I've heard good things about the first film. It's about an ancient Indian wooden figure that's possessed and kills people by making their worst fears come true. Looking at the IMDb rating, which is a whopping 2.9, this is probably going to be a piece of crap. But, you know, sometimes you just have to buy some crap. Next up, Halloween. Surely this one needs no introduction. I wasn't a big fan of Rob Zombie's Halloween films. The first one was okay, but the second was terrible. So it was great when David Gordon Green got the franchise going again with Jamie Lee Curtis back fighting Michael Myers, even if it did mess up the timeline of the original films even more. I'm looking forward to Halloween Kills later this year and Halloween Ends next year. And the next one, Chop. This one was another total impulse buy. I've never heard of it, but it looked interesting and it was cheap, which was the main thing. Apparently it's a revenge film about a guy systematically removing another guy's limbs while he tries to find out his secrets or something like that. It could be straight up torture porn, but if it's done well, it could be something more interesting. We will see. Next up, The Void, another Steven Kostanski film. This one was co-directed with Jeremy Gillespie and was a big jump away from the films Kostanski made with Astron 6. The Void is much more serious in tone with a kind of Lovecraftian feel to the atmosphere. The creatures and effects are great and I really enjoyed this film, but there were a few minor grievances that I hope will disappear when rewatching it. And the next one, Prowl. Things get scary, things get bloody, about as tense as it gets. That's another good quote from Ain't It Cool News on the front, and another blind buy that could go either way. It's about a group of friends whose car breaks down and they get a lift from a dodgy truck driver who takes them to an abandoned warehouse that's infested with vampire-like creatures. Could be good, could be cack. Next up, Red, White and Blue. This one's more of a drama thriller, but it does have some horrific moments. It's just in a more psychological sense. The acting in it is great, but Noah Taylor, who plays Nate, the guy in the middle picture, is amazing. I can't say much about it without spoiling it for you, but it's a very tense revenge film with a pretty shocking third act. And this next one should be the last one, I think. Yep, all gone. Okay, last but definitely not least is Pieces. The quote on the front by Eli Roth says, "The best splatter film ever made." This film, made in 1982, is a classic. I should probably cover up the boobs for YouTube. Oh, fuck it, you all know what nipples look like. But anyway, Pieces. A college campus killer is killing the co-eds and making a jigsaw puzzle out of their body parts. This has some surprisingly graphic deaths for its time, but it also has some hilariously bad moments and dialogue. Basically everything you want from an 80s horror, and this is one of the best. So there we have it. That's 25 new DVDs for my collection. It's a pretty good haul, I think you'll agree. Just quickly again, this is stack 1. Mostly horror films, just with a couple of action films in, but in general, a pretty successful shopping spree, I think. This is stack 2. Looking forward to watching most of these again. Let me know in the comments below if there's any of your favourites there, or if there's any films that you would like to see reviewed on this channel. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe and share. The new review, which will be for Adam Chaplin, will be out in a couple of days, so make sure you click on the bell to keep up to date with new content. Thanks for watching again, and until next video, have a bloody good time.